I'm going to call to order the Weathersfield School Board meeting for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 at 6:33 p.m. I guess we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. We got a good flag there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
Just the burn, but it's not. Okay. On the administrative report down.
Oh, no, this is for the agenda.
Oh, okay.
We'll be back to that.
We'd just like to talk about the student representative on the school board.
Student representative to the school board. We're going to add that under items for discussion. Okay. Anything else?
Just that the superintendent search committee met today at its first meeting.
Okay. You want to give a
That
little
can just be a note that there's not really an update. We basically just laid ground rules and
Okay.
established how the committee's going to run.
So maybe our next meeting, we can get a
Yep.
more of an update.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then now we have the approval of minutes.
We do need to have the approval of the November minutes.
Yeah, we need both, yeah. So,
We need agenda.
yeah, so there's another addition to the agenda, the November minutes as well need to be. So, did anyone, want to make a motion to approve? We could do both at once, the November and the December minutes.
Well, the November one, like I said, there's a admit on the administrative report, just in the athletic update part. And it's been a great fall season. It's either going to be a period or there's going to be a capital.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that,
There was enough.
so just that one little change there, Becky, I guess. Do you make those changes or do we let Lori know?
I make a, so what is she saying that the?
On the
there needs a-
November 8th, under administrative report athletic update, the in the first line there, just lowercase the T in there.
Okay,
Or at a period instead.
Any other changes?
There was a little one over in the drama club update. It needs an S at the end of it.
Oh, whether,
It's whether it feels that time.
yeah, it should be, under, same one, under items for action, drama club update. It should just be Weathersfield's Got Talent. So apostrophe S.
And I'll make a motion to approve both the November 8th minutes and the 12-13 minutes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Oh, is there any more discussion? Sorry, any more discussion? No. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous, Becky.
who made the motion, Nicole or Jamie?
Nicole did, and it was
Okay.
to approve, the minutes from both the November and the December meetings.
Okay,
All right, and now we have, public participation, and I have something written down here called Focus on Learning.
That's when the kids present, if they come.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's
but we're
section.
not
Not tonight.
We're not having it tonight, okay. And then, this is what today's meeting is all about, the budget. I guess, do you want to?
I think Carrie was gonna do a quick update real quick on
Oh.
athletics. Did you want to do it?
I don't have to.
No, go ahead and do it real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because that's always, I know it wasn't, it's usually part of my budget, my part. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. So basketball season's going well. We hosted our first home games last week. It's great to have the energy filling the gym and getting the community back in. It's a lot of fun. We are still looking for officials for basketball games, and I'm looking ahead to baseball and softball. We're going to be asking the same thing. So if you or someone you know is interested, please let me know. And we have kids that are coming in on the weekends with coaches and utilizing the gym for open gym. So during this muddy season with no snow, where the kids are, I think, otherwise lost with what to do, are coming and utilizing the gym. So really, that's all. Everything seems to be going very well.
And then just to give an update with that as well, we have been able to get some of the lights fixed. So it's a lot more illuminated outside when you go there around the gym, which has been nice. Our electrician was able to get in and find the short, and now we are just waiting for the rest of the lights to come in. They're on back order, so
Sounds good.
those things are getting taken care of.
All right, any questions? Athletics?
I have a quick question. What incentive do people have to, is it volunteer? Is it all volunteer for coaching? I mean, for reffing and
We
officiates?
we typically pay for 5th through the 8th grade level for officials.
However,
However,
it's easy to get those people.
it's not easy to get any
Right.
refs and officials. So we're utilizing coaches, which I don't think they love, but there's not really another opportunity. And I think if we did pay them, it would help, but we just can't. So yeah, it is mostly volunteer except the few older games.
Okay, Jason, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, hi. So I just wanted to clarify in that because I am one of the coaches that ref. We are paying the refs. We are paying the coaches to ref, though, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because you just said something about the coaches not being paid to ref.
I think
So I just
at the under 5th grade level.
okay. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that for everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, and I guess we'll move on to the budget discussion. So do you want to present?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share. I'll do my tab and share the budget information that we have up here. So you guys have a copy, and then for everybody at home. All right. There we go. All right, so with the budget, we are up a little bit, as you can see, is our overall budget. Last year's budget was just under 7 million, and we're about 7.4 million, so we're up about 500,000. We've got a couple of different things in there that make a huge difference with it. Obviously, the cost of living has gone up. There's lots of different expenses going on in the world. Things are more expensive this year. As you go through, and you guys have copies of the budget in front of you, everything has gone up as far as oil prices, insurance prices for employees. Pretty much everything has gone up. I'm going to go this way so I can scroll through it. Our teaching staff, we did add a teacher last year. We originally were budgeted for one in FY22, didn't have one that we used last year, so it changed our budget a little bit, our actuals, and so we did add a teacher again, a 5th grade teacher position, so that's why that number is higher, but plus the step and column raise the teachers got, and then we also, obviously, health insurance went up significantly because it's more expensive. General supplies down here, it looks like we're not giving any funding to kindergarten, language arts, or English, math, science, but those are in a different category. So we did that last year. It's easier just to give them right to the classroom budget. Here is our money on what we still owe on our beautiful building. So that is being paid off slowly every year, and the interest is going down, which is great. And so that'll be paid off in FY28.
Okay.
So then that money will be able to go back to our taxpayers. Here's our secondary, our paraeducators for regular instruction. We don't have any in there. This is for substitutes. We didn't have that because this is for our tuition to public schools. And then here's our salaries for language arts, math. And so the way they break it down, language arts teachers and math teachers and all of our secondary teachers are done separately. There's science. And so you see that they also have general supplies in there. Social studies. Our athletics program. Our summer program, which was quite successful with our STEAM program, which was great. We put that in the budget again for this year. Hoping to have even more kids. Our paraeducators, that number went down because we had budgeted for 4. We have not been able to get a 4th general ed paraeducator. So we went ahead and took that out of the budget. We've been doing great with 3, and we're going to go ahead and keep it that way. Trying to save some money there. This is for a 0.6 FTE art teacher. This was our world language teacher. And so we had budgeted $51,000 last year for it. This was a 0.4 because that's what we were able to hire at the start of the year. The person that we had hired was really high up on the salary schedule because she had lots of years of experience and lots of degrees. So this is a 0.4. If we were able to get a half-time or 0.4 person, the chances of it would be lower than that even. So we left that number in there, what we were paying her for this current year. And then obviously that wasn't a cost because that didn't work out. PE, music, basic budget for musical instruments, guidance counselor, health services for substitutes in that category. And the person in there. This is for our SEI, psychological services, our social emotional interventionist. We also left an extra $30,000, and we are hope to give kids that extra the mental health care that they need. So that supplements what the SU gives us. This is for our interventionist. Library, this is for a 0.8 librarian. Clerical positions for the board. Legal services, administration. Clerical in the office did go up because we increased our number in the office to 2 full-time people. We talked about that last year, but hadn't budgeted it at that point. So we went ahead and added that in the budget this year, so that we have both people in the office because that's become more of a safety and necessity in the office. Here's our district-wide assessments. Business, the building operations. You can see where things have gone up for things I never thought I'd be paying for, but plowing and wood chips. Never had that on a budget before last year. So snow plowing and Sandy. So just the cost of everything. But one good thing is our landscaping and lawn care has gone down since we bought the tractor. We don't have to pay for that anymore. So I'm trying to highlight some positive things there in the budget.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna ask about that. How come a tractor can't do the plowing?
Our tractor can do some of the plowing, it can't do all the plowing. So it can move the plowing, but for safety wise, it's much quicker and easier to have our plower come in and also sand it to make sure it's safe. But it's nice because Brian Woodbury can move more of the snow to different areas.
Yeah,
And make
once
it
it's
safe.
plowed, you can get rid of the giant
Yeah,
piles.
and make it easier for kids. So it's been a great tool to have. Field trip money in there, we added this is transportation for field trips, transportation for sporting events. And then that's the entire budget. So we are at an increase of $511,677, which is a percentage increase of 7.35. Let me show you stats. Okay. So here's our comparison from FY22 to FY24. So yes, we went up in the overall budget. Our homestead tax rate, though, went down. And then our equalized pupil numbers went up quite a bit,
Yeah.
which is why our tax rate went down.
Awesome.
And then we're all aware of our CLA at 80.97%, which I know they're taking a look at that. And then our pupil spending, equalized spending per pupil went down as well.
Awesome.
So even though we had an increase, we still had a decrease
Yeah.
of where
Because we're serving more students.
we're serving more students. So we have been on the uptick of how many students we have. We have 248 right now.
Yeah.
And so at this time last year, we were about 230. And we possibly have 3 more coming in, so we'll be over 250 more than likely, which is awesome. So we are showing that trend of growing where other areas aren't. So I think it's the makerspace. But so that's nice. So that is a change. And then here's the tax scenarios. So we have a couple options here. So here's our budget.
And that was with the surplus, right?
This bottom number is with,
surplus.
yeah. So the top number right there is our equalized pupil spending and what our tax rate could be, the 1.6803. And then compared to our tax rate from FY23 of 1.7941. And then we have a surplus or projected surplus of 196,587. If we apply that to our budget for next year, then our tax rate can go down to 1.6360.
It's your FY22 surplus.
Okay, yeah. And I just want to throw it out there that, my thinking is that maybe we should split that surplus half to go back to lower the tax rate and half to go into the capital reserve fund, because we did spend a good chunk of
Yeah.
money from the capital reserve this past year. So I'd like to replenish that money. That was spent.
So then we
But
then-
of course, everybody can talk about it and decide if that's what you'd like to do. But
Do we have?
I think
those?
we already are seeing, so it'll be somewhere in between those two numbers. So that's already a pretty good decrease from last year's tax rate.
Do we
And if
have-
anybody has any other ideas, if you want to split it some other way than 50.
I'm gonna go back to
How does that work in terms of expenditures from the general fund that we're talking about? Like you're saying split it to percentage from what we spent.
Yeah, we approved new carpeting
Yeah.
and makerspace stuff and things like that. And so our capital reserves, that all came out of our capital reserves. I'd like to replenish the capital reserves with some of this.
And some of the if we need to do.
Okay, but I'm wondering if he changes the height,
Some of this.
right, in 196.
What-
to-
what-
In the capital
Yeah.
reserves?
Okay.
Do we know how much is in the capital reserves right now?
She's getting,
I'm gonna find out right now.
She's way ahead of us.
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna divide that number and then see if I can plug it in to get.
He says he's on the phone listening. Ed, if you can hear me, if you can unmute your phone, yeah, he's here, 2 others. And the question is, how much is in the capital reserve fund at this moment? He doesn't answer, I'll text it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi,
Can you hear
Ed,
me?
thanks for coming. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Do you know what is in the, yeah, you heard me? Okay, be quiet.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm going there right now, so just give me a minute.
Does anybody want to take a guess? What's in there, just for fun?
I really should know.
Did you say 240? 240. I will say.
233,752.
How much sense? Better write that down.
72.
It's, 228,400 $43.44.
I said 233. That was, but I went over. On
You were
Price is
over.
Right, I would have lost.
So around 222? Oh, 228,
Right.
Mike said.
228,043.44.
Ed, can you punch in the new number for our local revenue? Because I don't want to mess up your form.
Just split
Yeah,
the
I can do
difference.
that.
in
Okay.
half. Is that what you're thinking?
I was thinking 50-50, yeah.
50/50, half in
Does
capital
anybody
reserve?
else have any other? How much did we spend last year out of the capital reserve?
Like 115.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Can I just get an idea as somebody who's new
Mhm.
about how does that process work? Do you come to the board if you have a project?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
He
we,
asked
and then
us
you,
and then we
okay,
approved
okay,
it,
just because I wasn't here for
Yeah, yeah.
that part
Yeah,
of
he
it.
came to us and like there was.
And this reserve fund is really for like
It's for building
projects?
improvements.
Oh,
It's-
building
no,
improvements,
It's
okay.
out for building
Okay,
improvements.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So anything that needs, that in the building
Okay.
needs repair,
Right.
like.
And is there anything
Or the
outstanding
boiler-
right
boiler.
now other than
Yeah, so-
electric work?
Yeah. So last year we approved the board approved this space, the makerspace being repurposed and redone into a makerspace to make it more 21st century. We did the new carpeting in the library, added the library furniture as well. The new carpeting in the music room, which was the pits, new carpeting in the office. We also added the tractor, which was a huge help. And then we're still in the process of getting the mini splits for the art room and the music room. They're on back order. Like we can't get them. Like they ordered them and they're still giving us the runaround on where they're at. So right now we're just bundling off a little bit in the music room. The music room tends to be colder. You could probably store meat in there. But it's not that bad. I mean, the kids get used to it.
Keeps them awake.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Run around.
Yeah, exactly. The room's big enough.
So my thinking was that since we spent approximately 100,000
Right,
to replenish. them,
Right.
Approximately.
right.
And that I think takes a vote, right?
Yeah, that would take
a
a-
vote.
And the overage we're talking about?
196, 587.
So 98, 293, 294.
So is there any upcoming capital improvements that you have on the docket other than those things that are, I mean, that we should?
We do need to
consider?
look at the gym floor. I mean, we talked about that, and I'm not sure if that's in capital reserves right now. We do have a 5-year plan that Larry and Jim came up with, and thinking of it, I believe the gym floor is 99% sure the gym floor is already on there to have that resurfaced because it has become slippery. So we've been trying to maintain that with our custodial staff and getting different chemicals to make it a little stickier when you walk through it. But then also, the only other thing would be, I would like to look at starting to make our furniture in our classrooms more uniform. So start off someplace with maybe like the teacher's desk, so that when we do, because right now we have 16 different regular teachers' classrooms and they have 16 different desks in there. And it's nice to have that uniformity. It makes it look nicer, cleaner, and also makes it easier on our custodial staff, because like we have one desk from a teacher that came from a prison, I believe, and the thing weighs like 2 tons. And those are things that, and then also start making it so the classrooms, as far as classroom furniture, is more uniform, because we have a mismatch of different stuff. And it looks, a nice clean look looks better. It makes staff feel better.
And Brian.
And that's the black frame.
So, so by cutting it in half, the local revenue, it creates a tax rate increase to 1.6581.
You guys have this in your middle of your packet, like page 4. And then like take off the first top functions there, and it has general fund on the front. Go through take your budget, get rid of that one. It's the second packet.
Oh, okay.
And then go to page, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Much.
Turn one more.
So this general fund,
Yes.
So can you say that again, Ed? What was it? 1.6581?
That's right.
He just did it.
He just did it in the spreadsheet. Oh, here it comes.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And how does that affect our equalized pupil number? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's,
It goes to $20,782.41.
what was it last year?
I'm sorry, it goes to, yeah, 20,782.41. And last year it was 20,993. So if you were to use half, if you were to use half the surplus, you would decrease the cost per pupil by 1.01%, or $211.19.
Per student.
So does anyone else have any other ideas of how to, like, to use the surplus? Does everybody like my idea?
So when we talking about moving over 98,000 to the. What's that?
Yeah, you can ask a question. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Carrie? Carrie Jewel would like to ask a question.
Does it have to be related to what we're on right now, or can it be something else on the budget? I can wait.
Yeah, if you want to wait just
Sure.
until we're done discussing this particular thing, then
Yep.
we'll go back and talk about some of the other things in the budget.
It's up there, Mark, 98 to 94. Just split.
Okay, so 98. Sounds like a good use of funds to me. We'll be required to do that. A motion.
I think we just make a motion and Ed makes it happen, right?
That's exactly right.
Anybody have any contrary feelings to that?
I guess I'm confused. So, but we're not voting on,
Well, it'll be part of the, we're just working out sort of some of the details. We'll vote on the whole budget and part of that we'll have to spell out these little details when we do that, but,
so
we'll
this is
figure it out.
just- This is just to try to get the equalized pupil down a little bit.
No, it's, I mean, typically the board would vote to have, because we have this extra revenue. It didn't spend it last
Right.
year. Do something with it.
Okay.
Typically, in every year past that I've been on the board, we have rolled that into the budget.
Into the capital reserves.
No, not into the capital reserves, into the budget
Okay.
to lower the tax rate,
Okay.
because that's taxpayer money that they paid in excess last year.
Sounds good.
So usually we give that money, sort of give it back to the taxpayers in a way by reducing their tax burden for next year.
Okay.
But since we did have quite a large capital reserve expenditure this past year, and since we have a bigger than normal excess amount from last year, I suggested that we split it in half, because typically it is closer to around 100,000 that we have left over.
And typically your rate is up, not down.
Yeah,
So it's a good year.
so
to
it's a
do
good
it.
year to do it and to get that money into the capital reserve.
Makes sense.
And I think the voters of Weathersfield will be happy, because I've heard that that this town tax rate is gonna be going up in the double digits. So, I mean, their tax is lower than ours
Yeah.
because it's less anyway, but I think this will be good. If ours is down while theirs is up, it'll be out balance out hopefully for the taxpayers. Let's see. So does anyone have any in regards to the rest of the budget? Carrie?
I'm just taking a look at the athletics budget, and I'm noticing overall about $6,000 in cuts. And I just want to express concern and maybe ask if there's any reason why when our program is up so much in participation, opportunity for the kids So it looks like a proposed cut of 5,000 to coaches and refs, and also $1,000 to transportation. All of which we're on trend to currently spend what our FY23 budget is. So I just want to point that out, that I think that would negatively impact our very exciting and thriving athletics program.
And the way it was, no, it's okay.
I didn't know about it.
No, and the way it was budgeted is because I looked at the actuals of what we spent in FY22 and then mirrored it from there to make it and gave us a little bit more. And then we always.
FY22 was the COVID
year, yeah.
year.
So.
So you're already struggling to get staff to help with games, and then we're going to pay them less? Is that what I'm seeing?
Or not at all. I mean, some of them can. We pay our coaches, just as a reference, we pay our coaches through 5th through 8th grade level. A head coach is $400 and the assistant coach gets $200. So they're not getting a whole lot
Right.
to do it to start with, and then everyone else is welcome.
So you would like to see the coaches and refs change from 5,000 to 10,000?
I would absolutely love to see it at least level funded. I mean, I realize that it's hard to come in and ask for more, though I could make a case for it.
Do you have data about how much you've already spent at this point?
Yes, not at this
And
moment,
okay, but the expectation is that
Yes.
the program's gonna grow, needing more personnel.
yes.
I agree. I don't think this is something we want to underfund.
No, maybe we should hear from some of the public, or I see a coach up there.
Oh, I see Jason has his hand up. Yes, Jason?
Yes. So yeah, I didn't hear what the exact amount went from. Was it 10,000 to 5,000?
Yes.
In the category of coaches and refs.
So, I mean, as it is to pay someone, 400, I mean, that's basically just covering gas money, for the coach. I mean, that's really not a pay so much as it is, giving gas money to get back and forth to the practices, back and forth to games. It's really so that to take half of that away again. I mean, we're struggling to find coaches as it is. And with the high participation numbers, it doesn't make any sense why we would change that, especially make it lower. If anything, we should be increasing it past and above what it was before, in my opinion. And I've coached since, I don't know, it's been like 6 years now. And it's the same group of people doing it every season. And some coaches, once they sign on for their favorite sport, they're in it for the entire year. Whether they, like basketball, whether they like softball, it doesn't matter. And obviously we enjoy it. We enjoy doing it. We're not doing this for the money. But I can guarantee you're not going to find any refs that will do that for free.
Find one.
We're competing with maybe our own.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing with other towns that are paying, good money for this stuff, and obviously, I can do whatever I can to ref, and I do enjoy it, but would I do that for free? Probably not. It's so much stress and pressure, and you're getting.
What is the number that you be comfortable with?
I mean, it's good. It's good where it is. I think $50 is fair for a game. I mean, you're running back and forth in the court. You're putting some work in too, especially in the older grades. They're getting a lot faster. So maybe I'm getting older. I don't know.
I have Ed chime in real
Yeah.
quick on
Ed?
clarifying the athletic budget?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ed.
Okay, good. So if you looked at the athletic budget is, there's $23,000 in there for wages. And those wages are broken out as 15,500 for an athletic director, 5,000 for an assistant AD, and an additional 2,500 for miscellaneous coaches. And the why it's broken out like that is sometimes what happens is we have a teacher that's a coach or a para that's a coach. And by law, we have to pay them through payroll rather than other coaches who we can pay for in a contracted service. So if you're not working for the school, what we do is we pay you whatever your agreement is, and then we 1099 you at the end of the year. So there's two ways to pay coaches, and the way it's broken out here, there's $2,500 in the wage line. That's $23,000. 2,500 of that 23,000 is for coaches, and then there's an additional 5,000 for coaches and refs. So combined, it's 7,500.
But we lose the 2,500 if we don't get school employees to take it. Is that what I'm understanding?
You don't lose it. It simply is a number. We could switch it if you'd like it. I mean, we could take the 2,500 out of miscellaneous coaches, but if you overspend one line in this particular function and you underspend another line, then the bottom line will reflect the difference, and it won't change. The budget will still be $34,960, and whatever you spend will be compared with that at the end by the time everything falls to the bottom line.
Is it at 7,500 total, Ed, with those two lines for this budget?
Yes.
But it-
If
it
I
is
take the
less.
2,500, if I take it out of miscellaneous coaches, I lower that down to 20,500, and then I take the 2,500 and I bring it down, then yeah, the budget would stay the same. I'd simply just take the miscellaneous coaches out of the 23,000 and put it into coaches and refs.
So
Okay.
does anyone have any data as far as how many school employees have been coaches or refs?
I don't think it doesn't matter though. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter for the budget. I mean,
It doesn't
they
matter.
can move it around
Right.
depending on who gets hired. If we have more
Yeah.
teachers as coaches, we can move some of the money from the one line up to the other one.
Or you just overspend that line and underspend the
Yeah.
other, but it is still $2,500 less than the current budget.
Yeah,
So it's not,
so
it's, no,
so
it's
we would
not
like to,
petitioned off into,
Right.
you can't touch that if you can't use it.
Go ahead, but it's
2,500,
Look
sorry.
at our athletics department. on that section, and then there's the 1,000 in transportation. That
Where was the transportation?
on the
Pages up.
last page. It's on the last page, page 10.
That's how it was last year. It was still 10 and 5. We're still 500 from last.
That's.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Also, Carrie has,
BJ,
There's a lot of-
Carrie's also brought some new programs to the athletics program, and I don't know if that has been, how that's gonna factor into this budget for next year too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the underlying issue is it's underfunded
Mhm.
as it is. So how do
Okay.
we fix that?
Yeah, we'll
Or
focus on that one, that's fine, so we can
For
have.
the administration.
And I think because we've added more programs and stuff to athletics, I think it's definitely justifiable to add more to it, because we have a continuing, our athletics program is finally where we would like it at, and it's increasing and growing, so I'm totally good with adding, even a little bit more than what we originally said, or the
It could be
2,500.
rationale for adding to the student body. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at the increase in students, is that we're increasing in services as
Mhm.
well.
Absolutely.
Maybe, I don't know, speculation, but,
It's not gonna change your tax rate that much.
Yeah.
right, I mean,
Right.
if we put, anticipating that these services are only gonna increase, if we got rid of the $2,500 deduction and we put 3,000 back in to the coaches, would that really do anything? in the budget as a whole?
No, but I think to level fund it, you'd have to add, you're gonna delete that 2,500,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to add 5,000 back in.
Okay.
Or you can add 2,500. Right? No, it's
There's
2,500.
5,000 total that you need to add back in the level
Total.
funded.
Leave everything the way it is and add the 5,000.
And add the 5,000
Yeah, then that makes sense.
to
But
that.
then
we're,
that's-
but we're
that's
saying that
level
number
funded.
is still not enough.
That's level funded. If we add 5,000, that's level funded. Do we want to add more than 5,000?
So what, I have some questions about what do coaches in our partner schools in similar situations get paid? Does anyone know that?
I only know what we paid the one.
I mean, if we're paying our coaches 450 for grades 5 through 8, and Windsor's paying 900,
Yeah, but what Jason said is that the pay is fine.
Yep. Okay.
So I don't think we need to increase the coach pay, it's just maybe if we need
Well,
more
that-
coach, Or if-
I was referring to the referee fees.
the referee.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I believe he said $50 per game.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Accept-
Was the acceptable
acceptable.
price for referees. Oh, okay.
And there's adequate number of refs with that rate.
No,
No,
no, there's not.
Yeah, so that's-
But I don't, I want to be fair to say that with or without money, there's not enough
No
reps.
refs.
That's my call. We need,
I think it's a general shortage of referees.
that we're not unique in that situation. We've had to have games that are canceled because not on us, but at schools because they don't have any reps. So that's a problem. I just didn't want to see us then shortchange the refs that we do have.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to say, if we can, say to parents or someone who's willing to do it, it's even $25, like something would be great, but the shortage of refs is not because of not paying for them.
Right, yeah.
what's the requirement to be on?
There is no requirement at the middle school level or below. So, although it's great to have, and some of our refs do have the credentials, we try to utilize those at the 7th and 8th grade level as much as possible. We have Christian Craig, one of our soccer coaches, is going to hold a clinic season next year to try to help parents and people who have stepped up to volunteer learn more about reffing soccer. We're trying to do that with each sport, but there are no credentials needed.
Are you allowed to ref your own child's game?
You, in most cases, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I could just chime in for a second on the referee credentials. So you'll find out real quick if your credentials are good by the crowd. They will tell you whether you're doing a good job or not. So,
Just friends.
yeah, but I don't think it's a good idea for coaches to ref their own team's game. That's a bad.
Try
look
not
for
to
our
use
school.
coaches on their own, ref their own teams. What Jason and Victor Lawson have done, Jason's the girls' coach, so he refs the boys' game. Victor's one of the boys' coaches, and he'll ref the girls' game. I don't know that I won't speak for Jason, but I don't think everyone loves to do it, but they know we need to have the refs, so they step up.
Yeah.
So they get paid to do it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
I was
do,
already.
he doesn't do his own team.
If you're doing it, you're doing it because you love sports and you're already, involved with the kids anyways. So, I mean, if we didn't want to do it, we wouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
Jessica Brown, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so it might be a mute point at this point in time, but I guess I was confused with the math and thinking of the coach's salary. Because in FY23, there was also 23,000 budgeted, which I assume would include the 2,500. So you really need to add 5,000, not just the 2,500.
Yeah, we had discussed, we sort of quietly were discussing.
Okay. And so,
Thank you.
yeah, yep. And then the other thing, I'm going to advocate that the athletics budget needs more money put into it. I have been a parent for 9 years at the Wethersfield School, and this is probably one of the best athletic seasons I've seen. And we have way more teams now, and it's sort of sad to look at our 7-8 boys wearing like antique jerseys for their basketball teams. And it'd be really nice to be able to like actually purchase uniforms across the board, things like that. Like, I think that there is athletic supplies that need to be updated that haven't been updated for years because we've never really had the budget, and now we have the teams. We really need that. So that's just my thing of like, I think 5,000 for general supplies is probably pretty minimal too when you're thinking of K through 8 being able to host teams, both boys and girls. Not even looking at, salaries and stuff like that, but just general budget wise. We've played with some pretty old softballs, basketballs, soccer balls, things like that.
Okay, thank you. Jason, you have your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, one last thing. When she brought up softball, I remembered our dugouts. And for the softball team, I know we had something rolling last year, but I know we were waiting on materials or something. But a bunch of parents have spoken up and volunteered their time to build it, but we just need someone to pony up some money for the dugouts materials.
We had a parent approach us last year about wanting to do dugouts, so we got the approval from the SU from our building department. The parents they said that they could get all the supplies donated and they were going to do those things. But definitely let's look at that. And then it didn't happen last year at the end of the year. So, but that was definitely brought up by a parent last year.
Yep. Yeah, I remember the meeting.
Yeah.
Talked about it. Okay, so that sounds like that wouldn't be a cost. It's just, we just need to get it organized.
Right, get it organized, get it back.
And it's looking like we need to add 5,000 to the coaches and refs line to bring that back to 10 as it was before. And then I guess other than just throwing money at you for athletics, I just would like to, there's some way that you can, I wish we would have been able to give you at least a day to kind of come at us with like, how much you think would be a decent amount to update some of the things that Jessica.
I mean, on the spot, you're always going to hear, well, we don't have enough money because we can always do more. I do know the entire fleet of soccer balls needs to be replaced. Although they're brand new, they were very inexpensive and they have fallen apart. And at $30 to $50 a ball, it all adds up. Of the $5,000 budget, I believe I've spent around $2,500. A lot of what I've been able to do and the new programs we've added has come out of the registration money that families pay for their kids to be able to play, which is where I was scared we were going to head, was to have to increase registration costs to help out. They currently pay $10 a sport. And that goes into a fund that we have access to, but it's kind of like reserves. You don't
School activity fund.
Yeah.
That has to be clear.
Yeah. So you don't want to depend on that either.
You have a ballpark? I know, but that's spot.
I think if you were going to put me on the spot, I guess if 2,500 for additional supplies was feasible, see what I can do with it and then be more maybe in the loop, maybe 5,000. I would really like to see us be able to upgrade. The stuff is old. The track mats sat outside for years. There's just a lot, and I'm happy to do it in stages, but.
And we've really worked on, Carrie and her team's really worked on taking care of the stuff that we have, finding items that we didn't even know we had in the storage shed. But like Jessica Brown brought up, that not only our boys basketball uniforms are in horrible shape, we have track that our cross country kids wore. We even had a student athlete that made it all the way to the finals, the state finals. He's wearing a Wethersfield track shirt, not a cross country shirt. So it'd be nice to have like a universal one that just says Wethersfield that they could use, and be proactive. And Carrie's been very good about making sure that we are getting our uniforms back. That wasn't always the case. We had lots of uniforms that were out there, and we had kids, I've had this uniform for 2 years or 3 years, and they brought them back as Carrie was asking for them. So I think it'd be money well spent, and I know that will be taken care of. So, and that's the bottom line for me, is that things that we're spending money on are taken care of.
And would that go in the general supplies line then? That would be an increase for the general supplies line.
Don't worry, we got Ed on the line.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, sorry, one more thing. So the 7-8 boys have like 5 basketballs. So that's all they have. Some of them play with for those who are not familiar, there's a different size for the 7-8 boys. It's a 29.5. So I think we have like 5 or 6 of those. And obviously we have a team of, 10 or something.
Oh, then we need some basketballs.
Yeah, I could have used to know that before tonight, but I can get those. We do have some money, so.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to put you on the spot, Gary.
That's
And
okay.
it's really nothing against Carrie. It's, it's just, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces, and she might not know, everything that goes on, over the past couple of years. So, she's kind of just getting thrown into it. I not that it's anything to do with right now, but I think she's doing a great job. So.
She says, thank you. Something to say, Vincent?
I was gonna say that she could have a half an hour or something now and maybe come back with a list of things that we can consider.
I'd have to do pricing. and-
Okay, yeah, so,
So just sort of coming up with a rough guesstimate, 2,500 would make you happy for.
I mean, if you want to go to 5, I'd be really happy.
We can make you really happy at 5. We make you, I'm not happy at 25. Okay.
Yeah.
I personally am cut from a different cloth because I don't think that we should, discount a program like this as this is as part of the whole student.
Mhm.
This is a third of their day. It's educational, it's learning community skills and leadership and teamwork. And so it's still an extension of your educational day.
Mhm.
So I think it should be overfunded in some cases.
So kind of, I don't mean to put you on the spot again either. I don't know if you know the answer or not, but would it be worthwhile to consider having a budget for when to come in and do like ref coaching, like you had mentioned that Christian was going to do?
Yes. It's also hard to find. The credentialing happens mostly at the varsity level. So they're struggling, but yes, it is what we want. I have instituted a preseason coaches meeting. So we get together and go over a lot of stuff at that meeting. And I would like there to be educational components to that meeting where there's first aid, CPR type stuff. Also classes on officiating, because I think the coaches should understand what the refs need to do, because it's not always easy to just roll with them. So yes, it's definitely on our discussion board about getting people educated. We do have a high school kid who is certified to do baseball, and he refs for us. I think he's just barely 15, but he's good. So I have reached out to area ADs about getting varsity or high school kids even to do the 3rd and 4th grade as community service, and haven't had luck with that either. So.
I just didn't know if we put in the
Offer.
budget to offer the education.
Yes.
Like I would be more than happy to help with soccer because my kid plays soccer. I don't know the first thing about soccer.
Yes.
But I did tell my kid that I was going to learn this winter.
Yes, I would love to be able to do some training for officials.
So is there any way you could do a little more research on that and see if could come back at some point with us as far as a reference or two, if they're out there? I mean, to me, this sounds like the kind of thing that would be, if it could happen during the spring, great, but might it not be more effective during the summer when we can bring in some of these prospective coaches? Because again, like Jamie was saying, I'm sure there's parents out there like, I've got to be there anyway to drop the kid off and pick them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I knew something about the game, maybe I'd coach. So if there's any way you can
I will.
pull that expertise from the woodwork and find somebody who's willing to train.
I definitely
See
will.
if there's a cost associated with that, I mean, then we're gonna get a bunch of coaches out of it. I'm sure it's worth the money, so
Okay, I will do that.
if such a person exists.
So is it the board consensus to increase the athletic budget by 5,000 then? this is the general supplies.
If we did like an education piece with, could that qualify under that general supply line?
Or would we need to make a
I think
separate
it could
one?
come out of, yes,
Professional
or
services.
professional
Services,
services.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come
okay.
out of there.
So that
Yeah.
should,
So should we increase the professional services? Like maybe another spot, like if we just were to add, say we're gonna add 5,000 to general supplies, should we do like 2,500 to professional and 2,500 to general supplies so that way you kind of have that buffer of both, maybe? That would be
like
my
that.
suggestion.
yes. Okay, so we're good. So we'd like, the plan is to change the other professional services line to 12,500. And to change the general supplies line to 7,500.
Okay.
Yes.
Ed, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, is that something you can do tonight, right now?
Yeah, I can. I can. Just give me a minute, okay?
Thanks, Ed.
So professional services, this one's going up to
Oh,
25.
This is the FY 24 budget. So that one's going to 12,500 and then one below it is 7,500.
I'm using the printed one, sorry, it's.
Page 4.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go from the looking perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you say the.
No, it's the-
Oh,
yes.
It pays them here. And yeah, that's for coaching.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can increase our revenue?
That's like raising taxes.
Other than well, for example, is there any kind of funding out there, like a lot of places end up with like some COVID funding, or there's grants? Isn't there some things that can be covered by those?
We typically do grant, well, the COVID funding is on the SU level and they pay for 2 of our teachers right now with the COVID money. But I guess, I'm not sure that that's
So there's
actually
still-
figured into
when
the
would
That's
rest.
still funding.
Yeah,
next
pretty
year?
much, yeah.
Alright.
Next year.
Through next year, yeah. So does that mean next budget, there's gonna be a problem?
Yep.
Like, okay.
Start thinking about that.
To 12,000.
Well, I am actually just kind of like,
Yeah.
it is what it
Professional
is.
services,
Right.
With the
the
inflation, I think everybody's is up and what are we raising 7%? And
Going.
Yeah.
inflation's
It
up
was.
8 or 9.
Yeah, so we're
So that I
actually below.
understand,
I
but
think that's going.
I'm looking at.
That's 500
it
and
as
this is
sustainable. And
Right.
so I would like to talk about that at some point.
Well, you see, the revenue does always go up.
Well, it's that, like, when we're looking at like fiscal year 22, I mean, it's continuously going up.
Yeah.
And I have stats from like 2019 that I
Yeah.
looked up and. it's
Yeah, but I'm
just
saying
going up.
the revenue goes up in a similar.
Yeah. Is there no other way, though, to raise there's none? Other than taxes?
No.
I mean, we do
I
grants
mean,
and
we do
things for
grants
specific.
at the SU level. Some local grants are written. But there's also, I mean, it's wonderful to say we're gonna write grants. It's work, but there's a cost to writing grants and managing
It's almost like you have to
grants.
hire somebody to
Right.
do that.
And we have a grant man, half-time grant manager, Angie Ledoux. And it just, you have to balance it. Like there is a cost to writing grants and managing them because there's a lot of paperwork and data that's required in managing them. So, but we do write them all the time.
Well, I have another question. We had talked about the free and reduced lunch rates.
Yeah.
And I was looking up what ours was and like we don't, compared to other towns around us, we don't really have a lot of free and reduced lunch.
But we don't
So-
get Title I funding anymore.
So isn't there like a way to bring in people so that it's like a more diverse community? Wouldn't that be something like we could discuss with like the zoning board or like to maybe bring in some housing because we're having a housing thing too? Because that kind of thing would help the school.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're talking about some subsidized housing, if you're trying to bring in, socioeconomic diverse,
Yeah, we don't have a very.
you
I
don't.
mean, that's more something for the select board
Yeah.
to deal with than.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other thing was the transportation and athletics. I know Carrie mentioned it was decreased by $1,000. I think that was
By
based
1,000, I thought you
Yeah.
said, yeah.
by
What,
1,000.
now what page was that on?
It's
again? I
page
got it
10.
here. Page
Yeah,
10?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see.
And I think just
Yeah, I
based
think
on
we had
budget.
asked to have that fixed last time around. Maybe you just missed it. You were sickly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and while you're at it, before you do the final, could you add $1,000 back to co-curricular athletic transportation line?
And what about the
Yeah,
spell
yes.
DMV? Do we use that money or no?
It hasn't been held in district.
Oh,
It hasn't been brought back.
Not yet,
We
not
did-
yet.
Not yet.
so we don't need it
You would
yet.
absorb it, yeah, the field trip cost. Brian and I just talked about that.
So do we have any idea from the bus company, like what to expect for next year for rates? I mean, I assume they're gonna go
We're
a
under
lot higher
Uh,
for this kind of transportation.
we're under contract
Oh, so
for, I
through
think, our
next,
third year. And Ed can confirm that. We're not up for a contract for next year for transportation. I know that.
Okay.
I think it's the following year. So those rates are kind of locked in.
okay, good.
So,
So you want to change co-curricular athletics to $3,000?
Yes, for the
for
transportation.
transportation, just one, right?
Add
Add
from
add
two
it.
to three, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to, he's gonna update it and it'll go to stats, Brian, and it'll show the rate. I think that's how it's,
Yeah, I'm just on.
I can go back.
you can change it.
Yeah. And we do executive. We'll have it called.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And then going over this one, like that.
No, I don't think it was stats.
Yeah,
Brian,
three,
is it?
it's going three.
Was it tax scenarios? I think it
No,
was tax
tax.
scenarios, sorry. My bad.
Is it solidly through?
Mhm.
Scenario.
Scenarios.
I know you're just,
noticing
yes,
that.
I'm not, I know you're not through everything, but I do want to say thank you for having an open mind to that.
Did anyone notice anything else in the budget that they had questions about?
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the secondary education portion,
What
I was
page
just-
number?
is that two, I think? Two. So secondary, just under the regular, it's like, just the total, that is for high school.
That's for secondaries, according to the state, secondary 7 through 12. So our 7th and 8th grade programs
Okay.
are under secondary. That's how we have to do it in e-finance.
I was wondering how to get the numbers for like, for the whole, the school choice for the high school.
High school tuition,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
it's in here somewhere.
that's
That
the
is second-
tuition.
That is tuition. That
So you
is
see the
secondary.
four lines that say
Is it all
tuition?
four?
Yeah.
Is it
Am I in the
all
wrong
four?
place?
All four, yeah.
Christian Republic.
Oh, yeah. it's
Some
under
are,
that section.
so public and private and in Vermont and not in Vermont.
And then,
Yes.
how many students is that?
It's about 100 for
101.
9 through 12, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does Weathersfield or the SU, manage the benefits? The
The
employee
state.
benefits? What's that?
The state.
Oh, the state, does, okay. Okay.
Our health benefits?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's negotiated at the
Yes,
state level
okay.
now. We all have the same.
The state
It is what it is,
requires
yeah.
that.
We have no control over that anymore.
Yeah.
And it went up a pretty significant amount.
Which wasn't that the argument for putting
Yeah,
it all
it
under
sure
one
was,
control?
Mark.
Is that-
All right, just checking. And last
More
year it was, I
efficient,
think
right?
last year was like 5%. This year it's, what is it, 12?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
it's pretty high this year.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
where I work, my boss managed to like negotiate and got a plan that we actually have a lower deductible and it's costing him the same amount of money.
Really.
But it's not, I mean, it's not what, it's not what you guys have.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it looks like Ed's updating because
Yep.
the screen went blank. Came back up.
Can I ask a question about the world language teacher? Is there an expectation that that's gonna happen? And what do they teach?
So that's why we have it as a world language. So they can teach you either we're
Right.
looking for French or Spanish.
Right. So for K through 8 though?
K through, well, yeah, it depends on what we can get. It would that'd be ideal to do K through 8.
Right.
When we hired the person, because of their contract, they could only do a 40%. Because of they have retirement and everything else. So we had originally made it to K through 4 and then that didn't work out. the problem here in Vermont, trying to get someone that,
Part-time is fine.
yeah, part-time is really hard, full-time is just as hard. And then we have, I mean,
So.
we just, last year we had one applicant.
So we do have the budget for one full-time.
Well, we left it right now as a part-time, it's a 34,000, which, is still considered a part-time, but it would definitely give us more than 40% because she just got so high.
She had a many years of service,
Service.
so she landed on the
I
salary schedule.
Don't see
Would you,
but who knows? Someone could fly in from California or something.
do you have an idea of like what age group would benefit most from having a part-time? I mean, I haven't been in school forever, but I
Yeah.
would think that I'd be more prepared for high school if I was learning this.
Right, and it would be
Exactly.
ideal to do that part of our middle school with electives, and make it more of an elective, and that's what we're looking at with because we have a part-time art teacher, we have a part-time library media teacher, we do have a full-time music teacher right now, but to make some of those maybe shared a little bit, and then make it more of an elective to have more of that middle school model. We're really trying to look at that because that's one thing we really want our middle school students to have is that voice and choice. Because a lot of them have had some of the same things over and over again. By the time they get to 8th grade, they're getting a little bit tired of it and they want something different. And then to be able to have that and then have a little bit more expertise and have them dive a little bit deeper into what they want to do would be ideal. So ideally, it would be more for middle school. And that would work out perfect in our overall plan if we had somebody that would be part-time, maybe somebody that's, partially retired, wants to come back and work a few days a week or whatever. To do it that way, so.
But if you're talking about kids learning foreign language, it's better
Better.
to start early.
Right.
Yeah, they're better as sponges,
Yeah,
but then we would also have a gap though, too. Like
Right.
if we could offer a K through 4, then all of a sudden we're not doing anything
Right.
5 through 8.
that's not good.
It's also a loss there because they're not gonna get that exposure again to high school, So it's one or the other. It's sort of that catch-22, but I mean, we gotta do what we can do. And we'll work the program. If we find a person that's gonna fit into that, we'll work our program to make that person what we can do.
And I'm just not aware of like what means you use to find these people.
So we do offer through School Spring, and that's where we get most of our people from. And then job fairs, word of mouth, people,
You know anybody?
yeah.
Right, well,
And that helps out a lot. We have started to tap into local colleges as well and say like, hey, we need a teacher in this grade level, and go from there. And it's just, it's hard to get some qualified people that want to be in rural Vermont to.
Well,
Teach.
in general, across the country, the teaching.
Yes, the
profession is
teaching
not
profession,
changing.
yes. My colleagues in California are having the same issues.
Yeah, Jamie has a question. So because my kid loved the STEAM camp so much this last summer, are the budget, and because there are no actual numbers to do the comparison, are those realistic budget numbers to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The one piece that we'd like to do is to give now that the teachers have it, and it looks like we're gonna have some of the same returning teachers. Part of that, so we want to build a program from scratch. Part of that initial salary money in there is also gonna be an extra stipend so that the teachers will run the program from start to finish. So it's not BJ, Carrie, and I starting it off and doing all the work on it during the spring and summer, and then starting it and then being here during the summer for stuff. So we want to be able to have that piece done and then it's truly operated through them. And then maybe even offer, maybe change a couple things. They've got some ideas after they've done it 1 year where maybe we have certain weeks that people can sign up because we didn't have the consistency. There was some kids that could only do 2 weeks. So if they can pick and choose, if we have like Lego robotic week this week, and then we have, we're doing outdoor model rockets or whatever, the category is, that people can maybe specifically sign up for a specific week and have it truly be more of a camp, and give those kids the opportunity. So it's going to be bigger this year.
Just wanted to make sure it was funded.
It is funded appropriately. So
Your summer academy that's usually typically held at Windsor in the SU assessment
Yes.
portion.
Yep, and we did just apply for a grant, mental health grant that would allow us to, the first year we did it, we funded it through ESSER funds. And we were able to have a lot of mental health supports. So based on the funding, we had to scale back last year, but we've written a grant to try to bring back some of that and really partner with our HCRS organization, BTG, and really embed some the arts and music and things that really impact kids and their well-being. So hopefully we'll get that grant. And yes, so it's run out of the SU. And it worked really well in the morning and kids come here in the afternoon. So
BTG stands for Bridging the Gap.
yeah, sorry.
Thank
We are
you.
acronyms.
Sorry, guys.
That's the after-school care program in Windsor. In West Windsor. Yeah. The big friendly giant. What is that? The BFG. Yeah.
Any other questions or?
I may have more questions than normal because this is the first time that I've been through, but what is, under psychological services, what is We Are Hope?
So We Are Hope is an organization that comes in and it's a mentor for kids. And it's designed as a 68-week intensive program where the kids are meeting with that mentor every day. And then hopefully wean them off that where then they can go back in. So it just depends on the child though, but it's a very great program that we have here. It's unique to us or unique to Vermont. As far as I know, they're starting to expand. But it just is a phenomenal program and it was funded and last year, and then there wasn't quite enough money. So we were able to move some over into it. And so we decided this year to make sure that we had funding for it. So it was a priority of the board last year.
And how many kids is that organization serving here?
So daily it serves about 10 to 12
They rotate.
and then they rotate in and out
Oh,
every
okay.
6 to 8
Okay.
weeks.
They really focus on, it's a coaching model. And it's really a niche group of kids that struggle with anxiety.
Okay.
So they're not that tier 3, they need clinical therapy, but it's a lot of almost like cognitive behavioral therapy, working with them on strategizing and talking through some things they can do to.
Is it the teacher identifying the student needing
Through
this?
MTSS, yeah,
Okay.
through our multi-tier system of supports. And it is an amazing program, and some of it's funded with Medicaid money at the SU level. And Weathersfield has chosen to add additional support locally, so you have more time with the coach because you're funding some of
Yeah,
it.
so we have a coach daily here,
Yeah.
which is important to us.
So just to kind of loosely dovetail into what we were just on. I know, we're always looking at column A, column B, column C, what has happened from year to year to year. Special ed is obviously always the wild card because it's pupil driven and it's need driven. Do we have a system in place I know we have a BEI, right?
BEI.
No.
SCI.
SEI, thank you, right, I'm
Close,
sorry.
Mark.
I know we have.
Social emotional intervention.
Yes, an SEI. So I guess my question is, do we have any way of training our paras, which frequently are employed in that function with individuals in the classroom? Do we have any way of imparting that knowledge directly to our paras? And how might that be done? I'm just looking at this as, it's always an us and them with the SU and the local schools. But at some point, we have to look at what can we do within our own school to help reduce the SU's budget in terms of that learning and that professional development for our paras. So that was a really drawn
No, I
out
think I get it.
question.
I think I get it. You can chime in, Brian. So and I'm not sure about yours, are your SEIs locally funded?
One is not.
So one is a special ed SEI, social emotional interventionist, one is locally funded. You have some locally funded paraprofessionals in your budget. Three, and there are some that are needs-based by students driven by IEPs in the
Okay.
building. The model under Act 177, 173, I always get the acts mixed up. It's that sharing of resources, at the universal level, just because a student has needs, they don't have to be a special ed, go through the process of being identified for a special educator to work with that student. I mean, that's the beauty of the legislation.
Okay.
So we're really trying to mesh those systems together So
A lot
I
of
could,
moving parts, I
yeah.
get it.
So I could be a student and I need some specialized reading instruction, but that service can be provided to me. It doesn't have to be a case manager. It can be an interventionist. It can be the classroom teacher. So the rules are changing, Mark,
Mhm.
and integrating for that very reason. I mean, we want kids to get what they need and not have to go through the special ed process if those specialized needs can be met by somebody else that's,
Right.
qualified individual.
I mean, to me, that's kind of a three-pronged approach. It's
Right.
administration.
Yep.
It's union.
Right, right. But in terms of
And it's
training
needed.
our support staff, it is something that we need to focus on because
Okay.
our support staff, they are like the most incredible people. I'm sure you all know that. They're working with some challenging kids sometimes, or kids that are struggling. So the teacher can continue to teach in the classroom.
Right.
And, we're working on an onboarding system where we're training our staff so that they can be successful in the roles that we hire them for, which some of that, the contract restricts some of that. How many professional development days are they given each year before, school starts? And it's not enough, to really onboard people. And then
We want
throughout
to
the
make
year.
sure they're supported.
Yeah. We did, I will say, the board supported the support staff professional day increased by 5 or last year. So we are recognizing that and putting
Okay.
those things in place. So yeah. Great question. And I think that's the goal
Okay.
over time.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. Great question. Any more questions?
Why are you looking at me?
But you said you had a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, so,
That's like 3.
special education, I get, under special education, I mean, that's $220,000 up.
Yep.
So do we have like a number of how many more kids that's our share, right, of
Of the assessment, yeah.
the assessment, so
Yep.
that's almost $1 million. How many students is that serving in this town? Assuming,
And we don't pay based on how many
Right.
students
okay,
from this school are
Sure.
actually being served.
Yeah.
We pay based on
The assessment,
the assessment.
which is,
Yes, and it's divided by pupils, not by pupil count. Or-
equalized people.
Equalized
right,
people.
Equalized people, that's how the assessments are
And-
shared out, yeah.
And you see our equalized pupil was good
Accepted.
for this, for taxes,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it was bad for our SU assessment because
Right.
our portion of the SU assessment went up by several percentage points.
Because you're equalized. People count one up.
Yeah.
So it benefited you here, but
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the reason, and I know, Anne Marie, you talked to Larry a little bit about, the board makes that decision, how that is distributed, and it's by equalized pupil at this point. It kind of helps level it out over time. You could have a year, if Weathersfield was funding just special ed individually, you can have kids move in that cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars per student. So I think that's why the board made the decision. It does fluctuate, so we've talked about how do we reduce that fluctuation, because, last year was Heartland. Their share went up because they're, because of their equalized pupil counts. It was a double hit this year for Weathersfield because the other towns' EQS went down and yours went up. So made it even a more dramatic increase. But it is the service plan, Katie has to go through all the needs of every student, cost that out based on their IEPs, and that's legal. We have to meet those IEPs. And she comes up with that cost for special education across the SU, and then it's distributed by equalized people. But the boards determine that formula.
Yeah.
If you wanted to change that, you would have.
the SU board or each?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's, yeah, and change. Did that help, Victor? Yeah, it's a lot.
Vincent.
It
I
is.
don't, okay, Vincent, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Vincent.
Does anyone else have any other?
I do. May change it under Board of Education. And I was just wondering what the line item for insurance, not employee benefits was, that increase. I know it's a small one, but. Just see if I'm-
That's insurance.
Oh, okay.
Not.
What is this?
yeah.
Because this is us and
Yep.
clerical surrounding us, correct?
Clerical, that would be like mailings or something, I would imagine. Types of things.
Clericals.
That insurance is for, that's for, your, liability insurance, your, computer safety insurance, your board insurance, it's all one number.
And that just went up based on the bill that we get.
Right.
Is that through Visbit, Ed?
I'm sorry?
Visbit? Our insurance company?
Yes, that's Visbit.
Okay.
What's that acronym?
Visbit,
Vermont School Board Insurance.
Insurance Trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's on it.
Those are
You can start making up something.
I haven't ever.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I'm just going with that.
follow up. Is that, something that all the board share, or is this just our board?
Oh, all the boards have insurance.
But is this for just ours? Or
This is ours.
Yeah. Okay, so not everybody doesn't
Right.
stay in the same bucket.
Right.
Okay.
We all have the same carrier. Yeah.
Anything else? Ed, do you wanna? So this is updated, the new athletics money put in?
The
Let me
highlighted.
make it bigger so I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this way.
There you go.
Make it bigger.
It's, I can see it now. Okay, so with.
I couldn't say it.
Okay. Sorry, Brian.
So we're talking about the highlighted one now is with the changes?
Yes, he said it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I see it's like $11,000 more. Yeah. Okay. Those people went up by $1. That's not bad.
Yes.
So are there any more questions regarding the budget, or are we ready to make a motion? The motion would be to approve the budget of, is it the $7,487?
$7 million.
7 million. I'm sorry, 7 million. Yep, 487,000.
Yep. Ed?
Are you asking me if that's,
Okay.
yeah,
I
that's
know.
adding 11,000. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we got that. So we're dealing with the bottom highlighted line, correct? That's the most up to date.
Yeah, the bottom one is highlighted in yellow.
So the
That's
budget,
the one.
so we would be approving a budget of that number there, $7,487,050. And how would, I forget how we always would word it.
Well, luckily, we got the draft warning right here. It would be, to make a motion to approve the, amount of $7,487,050, which equates to a tax rate of 1.6606. That's it.
And what, we need to say something about the
Yes.
the revenue?
You do. The capital reserve, you'll have to, and I don't know if that's a separate motion or it can be made in the same, what do you think, BJ?
Every time we go back and forth
Go
on
back and
this,
forth on
either
this?
way, as long as it's in the minutes, I think we'd be safe either way.
Okay.
So you could wrap it into one
I
motion
think you could.
Yeah.
with $98,294 going to the capital reserve account.
And $298,294 going back into the, back to the taxpayers, or how do we say that?
Well, you would say 83 Because, this number that he has up there is going back into offset the budget. And then into capital reserves would be 98,293.
Right.
Because it's not.
Because it was not that much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So back into capital reserves is 93. Back into the budget, back into the budget is 94. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Becky, do you have that, or do you want us to re-say it more clearly?
I semi have it. It'd probably be good if somebody sends me these numbers in something. Usually I have it written somewhere. But I have make a motion to approve the budget in the amount of $7 million, right? $487.50.
No, $50. It's $7 million.
$50.
Yeah. But we'll send you the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, I
send you
have that $50. I just said it wrong. I copied
Okay.
that from the thing. But and then I have with $98,294 from of capital reserves money.
No,
How you want to word it?
No,
it's local revenue from the surplus. I don't think you need to put that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, and I don't
we'll
even,
do that.
I don't think you have to vote on the local revenue going back to the budget. You do have to vote on money going.
Okay. And so then the other amount is $98,293 will go into capital reserves.
yes.
Correct.
Do you want that as two motions or one?
One,
we could do-
I think.
I think that would have to be 2.
Oh, that did have to be 2?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make that 2 separate motions then.
Is that okay?
Okay, yeah.
Want to
Doesn't
make,
sound very good as one.
okay, we'll make it 2 separate. Does someone want to make those motions?
Make that motion for the main budget for $7,487,050.
Okay. All right, Mark has made the motion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
1 nay. It's good if you tell us why.
Sure,
before we vote on
absolutely.
these
I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking about it and the equalized pupil.
things. Mhm.
If it's like 20,800,000 something and we're
No,
due-
it's 20,990.
so even more, I was giving us credit.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, and I'm just throwing rough numbers, I'm just doing
Mhm.
it, but, and we have the high school students and that if we used all the same math for that, the equalized pupil would come out to like 20,000. So we're paying more for this school than we are for school choice. That's what it seems to be. Than we are for our school choice.
Where are you getting the high school cost? Because that's how much we're paying to outside institutions. We also have to pay part of the SU assessment. The SU assessment is based on our full student body, which includes our high school students. So this money has to go for high school students as well.
I would have to compute more of that when I'm not like on the spot, but, I don't know, like, I don't know, is that the voters are gonna even go for this?
It's less than it was last year, so it's actually a tax reduction from next year. Okay. But you're still.
But you don't need me to
Okay.
pass any of this stuff.
Okay, we like to be unanimous, but, okay. All right, so that's, four people for it and 1 nay.
So it passes.
So it passes.
So we have the final budget number.
And then, would someone like to make a motion for the, $98,293?
I will make a motion for the
9,
2, 9, 4, did she hear that?
Three.
Three. To be put into capital reserves.
Yes. Okay, any further discussion on that? No? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you for the great questions and
Yeah.
the discussion.
I guess we don't need that meeting on the 12th then. Thank you for
Okay.
that.
Thank you for that.
That's a promotion for the athletics, or is that?
No, it's part of the budget.
That's part of the budget, yeah.
Let's see.
Start your planning now, Carrie.
I am.
Look at her.
See it pays to come to school board meetings. So you're
Oh,
gonna get-
Anne Marie, who made the second motion? Was that?
Nicole.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you, Ed, too, for being here
Yes, thank
and
you.
helping us.
For
If
the
you're still
quick
here,
updates,
Ed, yeah,
thank you.
in real time.
Thanks, Ed.
She's actually gonna be working with them right now to get the warning ready, so you can all sign it tonight.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to.
Look at you being all
Yeah.
effective.
Next on the agenda, we have a drama club update.
Okay, so there was a pretty good turnout. There are now 20 students cast on stage for Little Mermaid, and there are 8 that have been signed up to help out backstage. So I intend to move the blacks around to incorporate those 8 people onto stage as well. Oh, sorry. But, so we are looking at, upping that, participation a little bit as we can draft more people in. Because right now we essentially have all the, principal roles filled, and a chorus of 2, which is kind of the opposite of how it normally works out. But that can all change and be amended as it's going along. There are 4 staff members that are now involved in the learning of the songs, so it's all been cast. The contracts have gone out, which is basically a statement of what the kids are recognizing they're signing up to do, to be a part of. A copy of that will all go home to the parents, so that they sign up for that. The parents know what the kids have signed up for as well, because it is, we've gone quite a while without any kind of live performance, and there's a lot to relearn as far as institutional knowledge. And my understanding is that they've managed to plow through 2 of the large full company numbers already with the music teacher. And let's see what else is going on. It's underway. It has begun. So to speak.
And the date of the production, you want to start sharing that?
Is that on the calendar now?
Yep.
Okay, you want to share that?
March 24th and 25th.
24th and 25th. So,
Friday and Saturday, same as Heartland, so you can go to Friday and Saturday.
okay. We'll swap back and forth.
We're trying to work out with Heartland so that
They
there,
can
at least
see
there's student actors can come over and see our
See,
play and
yeah.
vice versa. So we're trying
Oh,
to
great.
figure that out.
Yeah.
Great.
They are on the same weekends, but we just have run out of weekends that we can do things. So
So the, you know, the concern, of course, is health. We just really have to try and be diligent and keep everybody healthy. And if there's any kind of sickness, that we not spread it through the entire cast. With only 2 people in the chorus, there is no room for understudies. But, you know, we've got some very talented and eager kids, and we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be good.
yeah, we're excited. So I know the kids are really excited about it, and they had their first rehearsal today.
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to look at staging and everything you can do. with
All the other
props
things
and-
that go along with that.
So we're excited.
And then we have also a student rep on this. This is on our
On our
school board.
Right. Yeah, so the Malice-Cutney School Board, they decided to have some reps from students on the board, and I've been in different school districts where we've had student reps on the board as well. So it gives students an opportunity to see how our system of government works at this level, and be part of it and have some voice, and so we can hear from some students. So I sent you guys some documentation on possibility. This is what Mount Scottney drew up, and then we would obviously make it catered towards us. They can use up to high school kids, obviously. We have up to 8th grade. So we would look at, a student maybe being a middle school student, probably, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, maybe a 1-year term, possibly a 2-year term. We could decide that, but I just wanted to bring that up for discussion so that we can start looking at that as a possibility for next year, have students be part of it. Longer meeting, like maybe we could have them come in for part of it and not stay for the whole thing, because we do want kids to be able to get home at a reasonable hour. But it would just be, we've been one of our efforts has been to have students more involved in our board meetings, and then to have a student be part of the board would be pretty amazing. Yeah. We'll do that.
Okay, good.
You can
And
take the think on it and we can bring it up at the next meeting. And
I mean, I don't have a problem with having because they're not a voting member.
They're not.
Just, does anyone have any thoughts on this matter?
I think
That's
it's a
great.
wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Hartford does it. And it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want us to vote on it, we can.
I don't think we need an official vote, but,
Okay.
we can start, and I don't know, we'll look at, maybe we tailor this to
Right.
Weathersfield.
And I'll
Yeah.
adjust it and send it to you guys
Yeah.
before we send it out to the students, but it'd be nice to be able to get that out to them and have them start being part of our school board.
Okay, and actually that just jogged my memory. Vincent, you told me about that the select board would like to have a.
Oh, yes. The select board would like to have better information shared more efficiently between this board and their board. And there was I can't remember who it was now, but there was a member who brought up the idea of having a liaison on each board, which I think is good because I went to a recent meeting as a new board member, and there needs to be more information easily shared and access to that. So I think that's something that maybe one of us would consider doing, and reaching out to Brandon and asking him, to put it out to the select board and see who would want to come here for our meetings and sit on our board.
Is that,
As a non-voting person,
Non-voting, yeah.
but an opinionated person for sure.
would, I just throw this out there, would anybody consider just doing a town update as far as a part of our agenda, just like we have all the clubs do an update, and then maybe we did a school board update for for one of their meetings. That way it's just, because I know when we have limited engagement as it is, to expect people to tune into both meetings every month is probably unreasonable.
I think it's quarterly.
I think that's a wonderful.
Yeah, I think quarterly or something, not monthly, because,
Quarterly with an
Quarterly.
update.
I mean, it just, again, that coordination, if you make it easier for people to digest that, just say, okay, here's what's going on here, here's how it affects you, and then vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm planning to, I didn't want to do anything with the town board before we reorganize. I thought maybe that might be something good to do at our March meeting. We can appoint a liaison at that meeting and go from there, if that sounds good to everybody. So we'll kind of postpone actually doing anything with that, but we can certainly contact Brandon and let him know that that's something that we're planning to do come March. And of course, we'll have at least one different school board member, so might have different opinions by then as well. So that's why I kind of figured we should wait till March, just because it's close anyhow. But I'll reach out to Brandon and let him know that that's sort of in the works for March. I also wanted to talk to him about the athletics, perhaps getting Parks and Rec to do like some other towns around here do. And also there was some other thing that they kind of shot down right away, but the BAC, I guess like, Sean had done a lot of research on the BAC and when it was actually approved, when it was actually originally conceived, it was supposed to be a board, committee that would review both budgets. And it's sort of gotten separated. So I wanted to talk to them about that, but they weren't really receptive to that idea at all, so. But it could be different come March, because there'll be different people on their board too, so,
The budgets. advisory.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be good, just because, you don't want like both budgets to have huge increases in the same year, or, if somebody's able to, just to kind of.
It's good communication.
Well, our select board was very confident that we would not see this scenario play out. So we're obviously, far apart in our information, and opinion, and
Yeah,
what's reality and what's not.
okay, so we will deal with that later. We've already done the items for action. And, do we need an executive session?
Yeah, for
We
sure,
do,
just
okay.
a couple minutes.
All right, let's set the next agenda first. So that would be February, what's the-
It's scheduled for the 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Does anyone necessarily need to be home that day? You can swing it. Yeah. All right, so it's at 6:30.
Been married 33 years.
I know.
Valentine's Day, let's
Valentine's Day.
I'm gonna speak up, or if I have to be there, I'll be there, but I prefer to be with my wife that day, because I know she's online right now.
He's putting us all
Oh,
She's online, so, love you, honey.
You can bring her with you.
Oh, okay. We spent Valentine's Day apart, so, at a board meeting, that'll be fun.
Nothing more romantic than
Sounds
catching
great.
up with the budget.
When's town meeting?
Town meeting.
March 7th. Or March,
No.
March 4th. March 7th is voting day. March 4th, 10 a.m. here.
Yes. March 4th, 10 a.m. It should be on here. It is.
And then voting day is Tuesday, March 7th.
Should put the time on here.
And what do we want to put on the agenda? So,
We should do the budget presentation review.
yeah.
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 Review budget presentation.
Part of your report. And I told Anne Marie, I'll do the quarterlies were ready tonight, but I'll do them next month as part of the admin report.
Okay, but that'll be under
Yeah.
admin,
Yeah.
so that's not
Yeah.
items for discussion.
Do you want the budget presentation review under items for discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
We also, I guess, we can have athletics, or do you want?
It's usually under.
Under my
the
report.
learner report.
Okay.
And then I do have some students that are planning on presenting.
Yeah.
some of the
Okay.
activities.
Oh, we were gonna
Good.
have an update on the superintendent search. Just a little
Yep.
superintendent update.
Whatever I can share, at least in terms of progress.
And do you also want to give a drama club update at that point? How things
Sure.
have come along?
Maybe a little preview?
Yeah, can you do a song and dance?
Those days are long.
I don't know, I saw you in the Nutcracker, so. Let's see, anyone have anything else they'd like to have on the agenda next month?
That's probably good with the budget
Yeah.
presentation review.
Okay. All right,
All right.
so, I'll take a motion to enter executive session.
Okay, I'll stop the recording.
Motion. enter executive session.
Vincent made the motion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, Becky, and I'll get you the rest of the info.
Is it okay for me to, do you want me to take the confidential stuff down?
Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Confidential index.
Carrie, would you do me a favor?